This is not the opera. This is not a board meeting.
The financial synergies of the vertical integration have drastically improved the profits of the last month's earning projections.
This is not a conversation with a girl from Western.
So basically, if you don't go to Western, you need to reevaluate your life.
This is CFMU Sports, and it's worth getting excited about.
Touchdown, Boston College! He did it! He did it! Flutie did it! Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
They went for it all! A diving pass for a touchdown! Holy cow! Would you believe this?
Oh, wow! In your life have you seen anything like that?
Down the sideline! Can they catch him? Wow! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Oh my goodness! What a play!
The inbounds pass comes into Jordan. Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! They win!
Whether you love McMaster athletics, MMA fighting, or general sports talk, CFMU Sports brings you a variety of shows to feed your sports appetite, while also presenting live Marauder basketball and volleyball games on Fridays and Saturdays throughout the school year. Follow us at Marauder_radio on Twitter for scores, updates, and interviews with all your favorite local athletes and coaches on CFMU 93.3, redefining radio in your community.
I'm Tim Micallef. This is Marauder Radio with Marshall Ferguson on the
McMaster University radio station. CFMU 93.3.
That's probably the cheapest promo that I've ever cut, because I didn't have to pay anyone to do it. But I wanted to make sure that the man that I cut it from, the last time he was on the show, was on the phone with me when I played it. He is Tim Micallef. He is from Sportsnet, and he is on the phone with me now. Tim, how are you this morning?
Happy Monday, McMaster. Happy Monday, Marshall. What's going on?
Good morning, good morning. Are you okay with me cutting a promo of you trying to remember what radio station CFMU is?
Yes. So I didn't hear it, so I don't know. I think I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty good with anything as long as I said it.
Okay, good. Yeah,
if you say it and you're on air, then you're good with it, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's my general rule too. I laughed. We were sitting in the studio the last time I had you on the show, which, by the way, you are the first return guest on Marauder Radio, so I know that you can hang that one on your wall along with all of the other accomplishments. But when we listened to Tim and Sid on that Monday after I had you on, and you mentioned you were on the McMaster University radio station, the guy that I work with here in the office, Tyler Welch, Community Outreach Coordinator at CFMU, he was like, come on, say it. Remember the letters. Come on, Tim. This would be huge for us. And then it's like, the McMaster radio station, we went, that's okay. There's a lot more going on, I think, over at Sportsnet than
you know what's so funny is if you hadn't have said it, I was going to guess the letters, and I would have got CFMU, but that's only because something that we prepared for Saturday's broadcast. So.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll never forget it now.
That's awesome. The
CQRIS, right?
Yeah, that's the one. I'm trying.
CQ, that's the one?
Yes, that is. I'm trying to figure out what is the better catch, Odell Beckham Jr. or you being on this show with myself and Scott Hasty, who you were in the booth with as well, because Scott is on the mic as well. I wanted to make sure I got him in here.
Go on, Scott.
Hey, Tim.
You called the CIS Mitchell Bowl this past Saturday here at Mac. You were around campus all week. So you tie in perfectly with this show. This isn't a force at all. So naturally, my first question, what the heck's going on with the Raptors?
Yeah. You know what's so funny is I was driving home. I went to a ridiculously good burger shop with my old friend Ward Dills, and now I'm going to forget the name of the burger shop near Barton Street, and it's something in Lois. Anyways, I had the most ridiculous burger there.
What did you get? What was on it?
It was called the John Candy, and it was a big fat patty, and it was back bacon, and it was bacon dipped in maple syrup.
Oh, whoa!
Like not that maple. Like you go to No Frills and you get the no name and it says maple flavored bacon.
Yeah,
and you're like, what the hell does maple flavor mean? I don't know what maple flavor means. So what they do is they dip the actual bacon into maple syrup, and then they put it on top of your burger, throw some cheese on there, and my goodness, it was like something in Lois. Anyways,
it sounds like something you'd find at Barton Street, though.
Yeah, definitely. That is a downtown.
But it was like one of those like old school, like throwback, like kind of, hey, we're going to gentrify this entire area, and this is going to be hip and cool, and there's going to be a lot of guys in here with beards and sleeve tattoos.
Yes.
Not that I've got anything wrong with beards and sleeve tattoos.
You used to call games for the Ticats. You know what that's all about.
Yeah, no.
Jack and Lois.
Jack and Lois, that's it.
Yeah.
It was really good. Anyway.
I know, I recognize the burger name you were talking about, so.
Jack and Lois, yes, and it was really good. So, and they didn't give it to me for free, so I'm not doing this just because I'm trying to...
So stop on down to Jack and Lois, the official burger sponsor of Tim Micallef. No.
So, I'm leaving there after having this big burger, and I hear the Raptors were down 18 to the Cavs, and I think to myself, jam done, they got killed, what's going on? And then all of a sudden I figure out they blew out the Cavs, and I'm like, there's another, on the road, another stepping stone for this team. Like, I had said on the air earlier in the year, and I thought I was going out on a limb, saying, given what it took the Heat to kind of figure out their way, I thought the Cavs would take just as long, if not longer, and the Heat finished second in the conference in their first year with LeBron, or the first year with the Big Three.
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, so they're not doing all that great. We don't know what Derrick Rose's knees are going to be, and then we find out his ankles are going to be. And I thought I was way out on this limb when I said, I think the Raptors can be a top 2 team in the Eastern Conference. And lo and behold, I mean, we have to temper it a little bit with the fact they play a lot of home games to start off the year.
Yeah.
But my goodness, I am thoroughly impressed with the depth. I'm thoroughly impressed with the results. I'm kind of feeling pretty confident, and I'm not a big prognosticator. I don't really go out on limbs very often without at least some sort of backup. Unlike my partner in crime when I work on Sportsnet 590, and I'll try and make sure when I do say something that I've got backup or I mean it. And this one is, I mean, I can't wait to see them go on the road and play some good Western teams. They got a team road trip in November, but it's Los Angeles, Sacramento, Utah.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. And by the way, I think Sid is completely within his rights, especially when he's alone. He likes to stay calm. He backs everything with facts. He's a man of numbers, if nothing else.
Yes, he is. Especially to stay calm.
Yeah, he's one of the coolest customers I think I've ever seen, especially when he's staring into the camera when he's alone, and you have to call in and temper his love for being on air.
For himself. There is a passion that is unbridled in that young man, and in no way would I like to quell that passion. I'd like to keep it, and especially when I'm tired on a day and you don't have your best, to just jump on his shoulders and let him run.
I want to know, what is your favorite Toronto sports team to cover? Because the traditional narratives on all these teams are, the Jays are great, they fall apart. Yeah, the Leafs disappoint, and the fan base, it doesn't, it comes out in large numbers, and it's the most profitable franchise, and the Raptors are struggling, and then they find their way out of obscurity, and now everyone's jumping on that bandwagon. Who do you enjoy talking about the most from Toronto sports teams, being a guy who grew up in that area?
Can I throw a curveball and say it used to be the Toronto Rock?
I was going to ask, when you said, the second you said curveball, I'm trying to think of one team that would be out of the ordinary who's actually been consistently good.
I was going to say, Toronto FC. No, I don't think so.
No, just because it's real and the guys who play it were all nice and they loved the coverage and they would go, and it used to be, I mean, they're not drawing the crowds that they used to. They're not selling out the ACC or Maple Leaf Gardens, but that was a lot. In its heyday, when it was high, that was a lot of fun to cover. But you find that, I mean, when you ask what's your favorite to cover, I mean, dealing with the athletes or dealing with the fan base, they're kind of different things, right?
Right.
Like the hockey players, even for that group that is, I don't know if Salute Gate is worth talking about here. But for all the troubles that team's had, they're not bad guys.
No.
Like, none of them are bad guys. So it's not like it's horrible to go down and cover them. In fact, Sid once had a very calm, cool, and collected diatribe about Dion Phaneuf, and he called into the show to make sure that
I remember
that he was accounted for, and I thought that was very cool. So that, you know, like the Leafs are so interesting because we've seen, I mean, the 18-wheelers are piled up at the bottom of the cliff,
right?
And as a guy who's forced to talk 3 hours a day on a certain topic, when a team is as wildly inconsistent as they are, that might be the best way to do it. I don't know if it's the best way for the fan base to live. I don't know if it's the best way for the athletes to live. But, I mean, just you can look at their last 4 games. They lose 6-2 to Buffalo, 9-2 to Nashville, and then follow up with 2 pretty quality wins, 4-1 each. Like, I mean, it's just it would be maddening as a fan, but as a journalist, it's like, can you guys think of a better way to cover a team than one that just goes up and down? You can never figure them out.
That's what I've said for a while. I wouldn't qualify myself as a hockey fan per se. I don't understand the nuances of the sport, but man, I love following the Leafs. Like, people get so fired up, and you just want to be a part of that conversation.
I love the fact too that you can walk anywhere around, pretty much anywhere in Ontario, and see some guy with a Leafs hat on and just go, hey, what do you think of the Leafs? And he'll just go, oh my God! And then he'll go for half an hour. Like, everyone just has such an opinion on it, which I find amazing. But I wanted to touch...
Frustrating and amazing, though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, I mean, it's so funny because when I took the job at Sportsnet 5 Night as a fan, I mean, I'm basically, I grew up in a hockey family, but I'm basically known as a football, basketball guy. And
right.
I thought, the last thing I want to do is spend an hour a day talking about the Leafs. And the truth be told, I'm sure that they would probably say that if you listen to Jeff Blair, you listen to guys that are solely, I mean, we're a little different because we're on national TV, but the guys solely on in Toronto, Brady and Walker in the morning and Jeff Blair, they're up, when they're talking hockey and they're talking Leafs, if there's something to be said, there's about an hour and a half of a 3-hour show on the Leafs, and I thought, that's the last thing I want to do is just watch every Leafs game, and lo and behold, like, our best rating for the show always when the Leafs are driving off a cliff, because the fan base is just so tortured that they want to jump in whenever they can about the Leafs dropping off the latest cliff.
That's comforting to hear for myself, who enjoys doing this kind of work, that you weren't the greatest hockey guy to start out with, even though I know you say you grew up and spent hours and hours in rinks with your brothers and your dad and whatnot, because I grew up a football, basketball guy with my background. I think the last time I was in a rink and passionately followed a team, I think Sean Avery was playing for the Kingston Frontenacs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I think that was the last.
Becky didn't get you in on the Kingston Frontenacs?
No. I think I requested a media pass when I was in grade 6, and Dougie shut me down. But that's okay. He does that once in a while. You're involved with CIS basketball as well. You have been for a long time. Carleton and Ottawa continue to roll unbridled by everyone else, it seems, in this conference, in this country. Carleton challenged Syracuse pretty tough again this year in exhibition play. Yesterday, Kentucky beats up on Montana 86-28. Carleton up 24-2 after the first quarter on Waterloo this weekend. Last time you were on this show, we talked with each other about the health of CIS football and OUA football moving forward. Why does no one talk about the health of CIS basketball after score lines like that?
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. And I think that and this is kind of just off the top of my head, which is what these things are. I never really thought about it. But when you hear about blowouts in basketball, you're less worried about the psyche of the team that got blown out than the psyche of the team that gets blown out in football. Is that your natural reaction too? Because it's mine.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
You hear 100-0 in football, you think, oh my God, those kids must have got the snot beat out of them, right?
Yeah.
If you hear 120, you think, man, can anyone make a layup?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just a different mindset when it comes to basketball. But I understand what you're saying, and I think what's going on with basketball specifically in this country is that there are a lot of people that are almost proud of what the elite basketball teams have been able to accomplish. And, even talking to Amos Connolly and and covering the OUA basketball loop, everyone's just trying to get there. Everyone's trying to knock off Carleton. Everyone's trying to match what Dave Smart is doing. And in Ottawa, at least, James Druin, or Derwin, depending on which language you speak and which language he prefers.
Si, senor.
He says, yeah, exactly. He says he's bilingual, and he's almost caught him. I mean, they won the OUA last year, and then they ended up losing in the final. So I just feel like, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, there's less patience for a football beatdown than there is for a basketball beatdown.
I would have to agree with that. The other thing that came across my mind, I'll let Scott jump in on this too, is it just based on finances, the fact of how much money it takes to create a football team and keep it viable versus a basketball team?
Yeah, and I mean, I think we know the specifics of football too, where some schools have a paid head coach and they don't have another paid member on their staff.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get out there and recruit? And how do you, like, the little things that you do to, and having a personal relationship with Dave Smart, I realize, like, the guy's just a workaholic. Like, he works his rear end off, and he won't stop no matter how many national championships they claim in the last little while. And, I think in maybe with Laval's case, you could say that it's money and it's resources. But beyond Laval, is there another spot where Montreal's got some decent resources, but no one on the level of Laval? And maybe we're seeing Carleton benefit from that privatized football program. But they also took a huge risk by going with a bunch of freshmen in their first year.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's an interesting topic. I don't know if I have an answer for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think, like, the issue is, for one, if you talk to people in the, like, grassroots scene of basketball, they say that Ontario is one of the most over-recruited places for basketball and definitely in Canada, and probably over-recruited as far as the States go. So there's a limited pool of talent, and they're getting drawn to the States to play on scholarships and whatnot that can't be offered up here. So, I mean, if you're gonna stay home, do you want to try and build a program, or do you want to go somewhere where you can win? And I mean, there's only two schools in Ontario that really can say we win, and that's Ottawa and Carleton.
But you look right now, and if I'm not mistaken, and if anyone's coming out, the top 5 teams in the nation are in Ontario.
Yeah.
And there's only 4 spots in the Nationals for the Ontario team.
Yeah,
so,
and that's something too. I mean, the coaches, like, how long can we really stay under that model too is a good question, because fans aren't dumb. They're going to realize why my school isn't at Nationals, because why, and then they're going to watch an AUS team or an RSEC team has been typically in the past just getting beat up at national tournaments. So it's gonna raise some eyebrows, and that's to be expected. But change may come, it may not. But
I think that's fair.
That's only going to last a little while too, because UBC for a while was the second best team in the nation consistently, and there were national championships out east with AUS schools. So I feel like it's just, and I mean, I'm older than you, dude, so I can say, in the last 10 years, or something like that, and have some depth to it. But you're right. Like,
I was just going to say, I was looking at box scores to try and find out, like, I was looking at some historical Carleton games to see the lowest point totals they held people to, and I saw that they played, like, UPI in a CS semifinal or championship game within the past 10 years. And as someone who's been involved with this for 4 years now, I said, whoa, what, UPI? There's no way. It's just kind of hard to believe given where we're at right now.
Yeah, and I think they had a 50-point win against Lakehead, if I'm not mistaken.
In 20, yeah.
Yeah, and I think people are giving credit because they understand what Smart's done too.
Yeah.
Like, what Smart's done is unbelievable. I mean, repeatedly beating NCAA schools. When I tell people on Twitter, it's almost my favorite thing to do. Sixero always makes fun of me when I throw a reference. He thinks I'm trolling by throwing out a score, because people are blown away that Carleton or Ottawa or Calgary beat a significant, I forget the program, but they beat a significant D1 program last year.
Yeah.
And Sixero's like, oh, why are you trolling them again? And I'm like, what do you mean trolling them? I'm like, I'm giving stats for people to start smartening up about just how good the basketball is. Like, we have this inferiority complex here where we don't believe that we can hang with, oh my gosh, Montana, that's a Division I program. Everyone would want to go there. Well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Like, these are kids, and not everyone wants to go live in the middle of nowhere and be, a 15-hour drive from their parents. Like, that's just not how it works. And I think we've seen that in football, where scholarships are starting to become available, and guys are saying, you know what, I don't need to go to Graceland. I don't need to go to Dickinson State. I'll stay home, I'll be on TV, and I'll talk to my parents and have them come to games.
And I'll watch Tim Micallef call games fantastically on Sportsnet, which he did this past weekend, the Mitchell Bowl, and you're also calling the Vanier Cup this Saturday in Montreal, which
you guys know who's playing?
I have no idea. I'm hoping I can get a press pass for it, maybe get down on the field. I heard there's no seats really available in the lower bowl, so the best view I might be able to have is in the upper deck. I'm not sure. I'll find out as soon as I can.
It'll be cold up there.
Yeah, it'll be chilly.
do my research.
Yeah, we'll see. This is the part of the show with about 9 minutes to go where I'm going to combine all of my favorite segments from Tim and Sid into one 9-minute bonanza. And try and have as much fun as I can here to send Tim out because he's been very gracious with his time, as always, which I appreciate. We are going to play Cut or Uncut, a McMaster edition right now. And I'm going to, I'll fire the first one at you here. Middle-aged men biking around the Westell area, which is around here, in full Tour de France get-ups.
Okay, because it's funny, I was like, there's a lot. The bike lanes are there, obviously.
Yes.
Because you have to put them there. But I was like, there's a lot of people biking around. That's pretty good. Like, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now, if it's winter and you're wearing Tour de France gear, it's cut.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's cut. And I used to race BMX bikes.
Oh, really?
So I understood. Oh, yeah. As a kid, number 2 in Canada back in the day.
Woo!
On the Boulevard of Lincoln.
Timmy!
And I was 8 years old, I think, when I was 2 in Canada.
That's awesome.
So I'll say cut to the tight gear.
All right, that one is cut. I have to agree with you. I saw it in the summer at like 6 a.m. I would get up and be going to do something, and there'd be packs of middle-aged men just looking to get out of the house at 6 a.m. and they all were wearing yellow jerseys, which is adorable.
I will say the middle-aged men biking thing is because most of them were athletes when they were younger, and they got to stay healthy.
I got 1 week left, Tim. I'm going to hit that wall in about 7 days. So
no, it's low impact.
Yes, I'm with you. Next one, girls getting dolled up for 8 a.m. classes.
Yeah, that's cut.
Yeah.
I appreciate the effort. But your true beauty can show at 8 a.m.
That's true.
Just let it show.
Couples snuggling during lectures.
Oh, cut. That is so cut.
What if they're really in love, Tim? What if it's first year and they just met and it's like fall, it's starting to get chilly?
No.
Tim Micallef hates love.
Is this a Marshall Ferguson? Did you do this?
I have no experience with this. I had a girlfriend in first year 2 weeks into school.
You did not.
Yeah, I was that guy, just like everybody else who's ever come to university.
My best move in university ever was waiting like about 3 months. All right, I'm not going to get this.
You're a wise man. You're a wise man. The roommate in your student house who promises to do their dirty dishes in a day or two and sits them off to the side in the kitchen. But they do them on their own in about 24 to 36 hours.
I'm going to say it's cut only if they're not doing anything else in the house.
Okay.
So if they're the vacuumer and they've put off because they're going to do something else, I'm okay with it. But no one wants to see your dirty dishes. It's cut.
It's just an eyesore. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
It really brings the mood of the house down.
And sometimes it smells like poop.
Yep, that's very true.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Last one I have for you before I move on to the next mashup of all your favorite segments. Saying Je m'appelle touchdown while promoting you calling a CIS football game in Quebec, which I'm not sure what the over-under should be set at this week for Sid as he promotes when you're out doing actual work.
I'm going to say uncut, because if you have the stones and or the ignorance to say Je m'appelle touchdown, you deserve everything that comes after.
That's fair. You guys do a countdown to kickoff on your show, which I always love and enjoy. And I always find it very fun. The songs, it's a great way to play along. If you're listening right now on CFMU 93.3 or online, you can play along with us right now because I'm surprising Tim with a very quick roundup edition of not name that wrestler, which you guys have embraced there, but name that CFL quarterback as we head into the weekend of CFL and Vanier Cup championships. Here's your first clue. Are you ready?
No, but I'll go anyway.
Let's go.
Well, it figures that I come east, and I figure, the last couple of years I look at the east and say, hey, all you got to do is go 500, and you're doing pretty good out east. It's not going to be that way this year. Matt's in Hamilton, Kent's in Winnipeg, Tracy's over in Montreal.
Who do you think that is, Tim? He's in the east. He referenced Kent.
Is that Ricky Ray?
Oh, not right. 0 for 1 off the top. Was that a hard one to start? I thought the laugh at the start would give it away. Would you like to hear one more time?
Yeah, I would have, but I can see by my clock that you're probably pressed for time, so I thought I would just guess as opposed to...
That's okay. I'll give you the laugh one more time. If we only get to 3 or 4 of them, we're good. Here we go. I'll give you the laugh one more time. Give you your best guess.
Well, it figures that I come east, and I figure, the last couple of years I look at the east and say, hey, all you got to do is go 500, and you're doing pretty good out east.
Any guesses on that one?
But he was a guy that was out west.
Yep. I feel bad. I feel like I threw a really hard one right away. Is that...
No, but it's like, that's Henry Burris?
No, it is not. That is Doug Flutie.
Oh, I thought we were talking about right now.
Oh, Current. Oh, Marshall.
Yes.
That's completely my fault. That's my fault. We're wiping that one from the slate.
I'm like, which quarterback am I missing? That's not Crompton.
No.
Who that is? Okay.
That's completely my fault.
No.
I'm new to this. Teach me your ways. All right.
I should have got it.
Next clue coming up. This is a guy that you've talked to.
Was he wearing a rope necklace while he was doing that?
He actually did the interview from a golf cart, which I'm not sure how, but that was the clip I found on YouTube. I just tried to find the most rambunctious Flutie clip that I could. But here's clue number 2 for you of all-time CFL quarterbacks.
Maybe I didn't win the Heisman Trophy or anything like that, but I was a Pac-8 Player of the Year. I was Rose Bowl's most valuable player. I did all the things that you would think at least deserves to get a chance at quarterback. So that was the reason I went to Canada. They gave me a chance to play quarterback. If I would have went up there...
You didn't even need that. Stop the press.
All right. Go ahead.
When he said Pac-8, you know who it was.
Yes.
That's Warren Moon.
That is Warren Moon, correct. You are 1 for 1 because the first one was an idiotic mistake by me. 1 for 1 right now. Here is your clue number 3.
After the final ball has flown and the final catch made and the last screaming fan...
You're laughing. It's like you know this one or something.
How
the ball is passed from one...
for the Wilson commercial?
I don't know, but he shot it at Mac, so that was I had to pull that one.
I was upset in the past that the Wilson they would use the sound ups from Mike Hogan as opposed to my sound ups. So I was always pissed about that. That is the one and only the guy who looks like he's still 28 and he's near 50.
Weird, right?
Damon Allen. Damon Allen is Benjamin Button. Like, he just gets younger. It's weird.
Yeah, he is a sharp-dressed man in that commercial, and every time...
the pants are a little long.
He's no Sixero in the sharp-dressed man category, but he's close. So you are 2 for 3 right now, we'll say. Here is your clue. Now, these last 3, I'm going to admit. Maybe I'll throw you a tougher one, then a lighter one, and then we'll try and finish with a real tough one, okay? Here we go. Here's the next clue.
You're always going to get banged up, and you're going to have something during the season, and you try to play through it. The tough part for me was concussion problems, is that there's really nothing to do except rest, and as an athlete, you're not ingrained to do that sort of thing. And for me, I'm still a little, trying to overcome that hurdle a little bit.
Any idea who that was? I can give you a clue of a team if you would like.
No, I think he plays for the Lions, the Bombers, and he used to get jacked up all the time and try and come back in. Am I on the right path? And I'm trying to think.
I think you are. He's not the largest man in stature, and he may or may not be a coach in the league now.
Now you're throwing me for a loop. Because now I'm thinking coaches, and I shouldn't have done that. Is that Ken Austin?
It is not. It is Dave Dickinson.
Dave Dickinson.
Yes, the concussions. I was trying to throw you the concussions clue.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of who's the Jack, not the bigger guy, played for BC, Winnipeg, and kept getting hit so hard, and he kept saying he should come out of games, and he wouldn't come out. I'll think of it in a second, or I'll Google it and cheat.
All good. Here, let's do one more clue here, and then we'll get you out because you've been very gracious with your time. Here's the last clue.
It has been an amazing journey of 20 years, starting in Las Vegas to my humbling times in Hamilton.
Probably should have started with this one.
That's my guy.
Is that the kid from La Puente?
That is the reason why every once in a while, when fans get a little too jacked up about their opinions, I say cool it, because Hamilton chased Anthony Calvillo out of town, and he turned into one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the CFL.
Yes.
So Anthony Calvillo is
Anthony Calvillo, he's locked it in. That was a lot of fun. I wish we had more time for it, but it turns out you actually have your own show to do, which has a couple more listeners and is on TV and stuff, not just like a YouTube edition like us. And so we are very, very thankful that you were able to join us this morning, Tim. I really appreciate it. I know me bugging you early in the morning probably isn't the greatest thing after you have to get your kids to school and whatnot. So I appreciate the time, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you this week as we head to Montreal and get ready for the Vanier Cup. You can hear Tim call the Vanier Cup this week is Saturday at 1 p.m. on Sportsnet 360. You can follow him on Twitter at Tim_Micallef. Thanks so much, Tim.
Thank you, boys. CFMU. I'm always listening.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon. That is Tim Micallef from Sportsnet. We've run a little bit long here. Apologize. Time for us to get out of here. Scott, thanks for being in this morning.
No problem.
Reminder, Marauder Radio was brought to you by the home of the original Buffalo Wing and Hump Day Wednesday, Anchor Bar, downtown Hamilton, Jackson Square. Go watch the Grey Cup there. Thanks for joining us, everyone.